When you think about consequences, most people think in the short term. You eat too much, your belly hurts. You spend too much time in front of the computer, your eye hurts. Consequence. But very few people think of unintended, prolonged consequences for the things that you've set in motion and walked away and forgot about. The plans that you've started, the people you've interacted with, the seeds that you've sowed. Unintended consequences, things that you couldn't even imagine, even though you should have thought about it before the act, but you didn't. And when I say you, obviously I'm included. This message is about me. See, I used to be in one of those godless network marketing companies back in the day. Why? Well, because I was foolish. I got taken by the elixir of capitalism in Western civilization, the dream of financial independence. I was young and naive, and like I said, foolish. And I spent a few years with that organization. And even though I've left the organization, the repercussions of what I've done, the consequences, are still in play today. Just the other day, it turns out that, well, one of Stephen's potential disciples, Stephen doesn't just adopt disciples, he vets them out to see if they qualify. Stephen is a master teacher. He is a prophet of the Lord. He doesn't just take anyone and everyone under his wing to mentor them. But he met this guy, young, 21 years old, with a spark in his eye. Very joyful spirit, sharp, intelligent, hungry. But as it turns out, he also now belongs to the same organization that I was in the network marketing industry. And not just that, he was sponsored by someone that I have sponsored back in the day. The ball that I have set in motion 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago has now taken somebody else's life, drew him into this bloodbath, this deception of the false facade of financial freedom. 21 years old. I know how powerful the delusion is. I was in it. Oh yes, they are very good at convincing you. They talk about God too. It's a very religious organization. They talk about God, but they really say is their God. Oh yes. Many of them, Christians, very church people, talk about going to church and then after church they go back to business. They do not serve the Lord. Their God is themselves, and they will tempt you with riches. We can give you power if you just bow to me. Well, isn't that what the devil said to Jesus? And this is exactly what those organizations do. If you just bow, build your business 7 days a week, forget the Sabbath rest. 7 days a week, come to our conventions 3 times a year. Do these meetings twice a week. In 5 years, you can be financially independent for the rest of your life. Well, it doesn't happen like that, but they sure take $900 a month away from you. Oh yes. They tell you just a little bit at the beginning, 150, then some customer volume, but then they tell you when you really get into the inner circles, they tell you, oh, well, that's just what we say, but really what you got to do is you got to spend $900 a month on Amway products. Interesting, isn't it? When I came to my senses and I realized just how perverted and crooked this whole philosophy was, and I realized that they only use God, they don't serve God. And I myself am a man of God. I've had the heart for the Lord. And I thought I was doing His will. I thought, well, it lines up. Yeshua had 12 disciples. They teach you to have 12 disciples. They talk about scriptures. They talk about, church. They talk about, sometimes they pray before the meetings. Surely this is a Christian organization. No. Deception. And even though I've left, I told everyone in my organization about it. And of course, they blocked me and deleted my account. It's been a few years now. And just the other day, it turns out that, like I said, one of Stephen's potential disciples, someone that could have been snatched away from the fire of Sheol, of hell, has chosen to bite from that forbidden fruit, willingly, even after being warned not to. So what can you do? What can you do? Unintended consequences. I sponsored someone and that sponsored person has remained. And he does a whole lot of damage. More than I did. And more young men are being lured into believing this lie, into serving the devil. Dreams of financial freedom instead of serving the Lord and being saved from the coming judgment, the wrath that is coming upon the entire earth. The judgment of God is real. The facade of financial independence is not. No such thing. You just wait until the US collapses. The dollar is worth nothing. Another civil war, another nuclear war. The economy collapses. What are you going to do with your Amway business then? Because, they have to have those young people at the bottom, because that's how the people at the top stay alive. You got to keep bringing in fresh blood, or else people quit and then you lose your business. So the illusion, you have to be fed. Keep on feeding, so they poison. They convince the young people, you can do this too. Look at us, we're financially free. We'll mentor you, we'll teach you to do exactly what we do. Yes, and both of you are gonna go straight into the depth of hell because you have violated the commandments of God. You have not submitted yourself and fulfilled the purpose for which you were created, you devils. So be careful. And while, like I said, it is the unintended consequences for what I've done to set the ball rolling, you're not exempt from personal responsibility if you choose to go down that path. Sure, I've opened the door, but you've chosen to walk straight through it, and that's on you. So you better repent while there is still breath in your lungs, because you do not know the day or the hour when that breath will be taken away from you and your judgment will be sealed. Remember that.